I have to stop the stream.
What?
I
Hello?
was listening to you in real time and also on the stream. Hello.
Hey, that sounds confusing.
Yeah,
So
I
what's up?
didn't know which one is real. Yeah. Uh,
They're
I'm
both
doing pretty good.
they're both the
I
real me.
I got a bag of popcorn and brought it to my room. Then smoke came out of it, and my room is filled with smoke now. But I'm doing pretty good unrelated to that.
You microwave the popcorn yourself?
What?
Did you
Yeah.
mic you microwaved it? Okay.
Yeah, and then I added like 30 seconds extra because I didn't hear them pop.
Ooh.
Bad mistake.
Have you ever made microwave popcorn before?
Yes, I did.
Hmm.
I was in the other room, and the instructions said wait for the pops. And I was like, well, I didn't hear them, apparently, because I was in the other room.
Well, it's a learning process.
Live and learn.
You live and you learn. Um,
Should I introduce what I wanted to speak about? I thought you were going to ask me. Okay.
what do you want to speak about?
I wanted to speak about stepping in and out of people's frameworks or holding your own.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, so, when trying to change somebody's mind, I often try to step somewhere between our frameworks and trying to pull them into my own worldview. Worldview being the same thing as a framework. Uh, but sometimes I make one too many compromises, and I listen to them explain their own framework like it's some godly view, and I'm the one making compromises, and they're not accepting them, and I'm just offering a new one, an even bigger one. And apparently, I find myself like debating whatever we were speaking about inside their own framework, being a very losing position if you actually wanted to win a debate, but I'm here mostly to change their mind. So that doesn't happen. But I look at some people on the internet. I'll give two examples. The same one I spoke about last week, except that one guy, we're not speaking about him. Dick Masterson, he has the biggest problem in his own show. He usually holds his framework completely still. He doesn't move, and it's funny because everybody who comes in adapts to his framework. But then you have Destiny, who switches his frameworks a lot to the people he speaks to, but uh, not to prove something, just to get the other person to agree with him more, or to prove that even in his own framework he's a contradictory person. And I wanted to hear your opinion about either of those techniques and speak about some personal examples that happened to me. Do you want to say something? I feel like I'm rambling.
I think that they have different. I think the two of them definitely have different goals for conversations than I do. Um, I get really angry at a lot of hotline callers because I feel like they are not addressing or understanding my framework. So they'll just kind of present theirs as though it is obvious. And if they think if it's internally consistent enough, then I'll just like agree or I'll be stumped. And I always get really angry and angrily drag it back to my framework and say like I want to have mine. I want you to have yours, and then I want us to compare and share them and kind of like draw connections between them so we can see why we hold different frameworks. So like the last call, we were arguing about whether it's censorship, I think, but then we were also arguing about whether it's good. And then the conversation kind of reached its conclusion once it was like, okay, so now we've argued enough that we both basically think the same thing is happening. You just like it and you think it's
Yeah.
worth it, and I don't like it, and I don't think it's worth it. And then I think I was trying to point out, I think part of why you like it is that the overlords mostly agree with you.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you're okay with having your beliefs inflicted on other people invisibly because they're your beliefs. And if they
Okay. I like
weren't,
the part. Sorry.
like I don't think you'd be happy with Facebook being like Trump really won the 2020 election, and that's That's the truth. We've just the committee's decided that's the truth, so that's what we're going to go with.
You're
Like,
speaking about the last caller or about
yeah,
me?
the last caller.
Okay.
So I no, I didn't get super mad at the last caller, but in general, I get mad when
You got mad at me last week.
yeah, I don't remember about what though. What I get?
Nick Fuentes comparisons to Dick Masterson and saying how Destiny did everything right
Oh
and
yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
I want to show that video to every serve because it would change people's minds.
Okay. Yeah, so last week I got mad at you because I thought you didn't understand my frame.
I thought that I'm stepping in more and more to the point where I'm afraid to speak back to you in like getting out of the framework a little bit. And you pointed that I'm changing topics a lot, and it's because in a way you're just saying you'll kick me, and I'm like, well, I'm afraid to respond now, so I'm just gonna start a new point every time we get conflicting. And it was kind of a not too great of a conversation. Like we started off, I think, kind of
Well,
well,
wait,
and then it ended very badly.
if you would rather for okay, here's my frame. That's your frame. I was afraid to respond because you would kick me. I understand that. I want you to understand my frame. That what that translates to, from my point of view, is I will say and do whatever I can to stay on the call as long as possible. And if I'm,
Well, I want to see the same
I,
perspective as you.
hey, I'm giving you my perspective, and you're not listening. You're actually not taking in what I'm saying. I want you to listen to this.
Okay, I'm listening, sir.
When you are afraid of conflict because you think I'm going to kick you, what that translates to for me is it feels like the person I'm talking to will say whatever or do whatever they can to stay on the call as long as possible. That
I
just
think
having
that
an
goes.
interaction, just having a fucking interaction with me has now taken precedent over anything that they actually think or anything they have to say. And as I watch you turn into a jellyfish right in front of me, I get more angry. Because again, what I want is I want me to have my frame and I want you to have your frame. I want them to both exist in their differences and similarities, and I want us to be able to talk about both. I want us to both be able to hold both frames in our heads at the same time. And if you're too afraid of how I'm going to react to your frame to even present it, you're actually making it so I can't have the connection I'm trying to have with you. And then I do kick you because it's too fucking frustrating.
Okay. I think that I wasn't agreeing with your frame. I was just creatively presenting mine. And every time you'd say, if this one thing happens, I'll kick you. And then I try to avoid that one thing while still kind of keeping mine. But we weren't touching. We had no touch between our frameworks there.
If you're calling me a hypocrite, you are attacking my framework. If you do so without even understanding my framework, it becomes intolerably annoying to me.
Okay, but is not moving a step also a misunderstanding of mine?
I don't think so. My frame is that you came in calling me a hypocrite, comparing two situations as though they were the same when they're super different, and it made me think, despite me screaming at Steven for 12 hours about this one topic and repeating myself most of the time, you still didn't really understand my stance.
Okay. Well, I didn't want to speak about that one topic because it'll end the same way. Well, it will end with me being kicked because I decided I'm not going to do the gelatin bullshit that today.
Okay.
I want to give a funny example that happened to me. So, a person I know likes Russia. It's his thing. Like he really loves it. So, a person from our city went to volunteer in Russia and then he died. So I was like, look at this guy, so stupid. He went to a war and then he died. What did you expect is gonna happen? And then he was like, he was protecting the honor of our country in Russia. He did a great service. And I was like, dude, he literally went to a war and died. Like, come on. It doesn't matter whose side you're on. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, I'm not saying that either side is right when speaking to him. I'm just saying it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you go to a war voluntarily just to die, you made a bad decision. And then he said, all the Russia stuff, as well as our honor. They protected our country like 30 years ago. I care about this. And I was like, well, okay. So, do you think it would be better if he survived? Would he be a hero if he survived? Would this be a decision of a smart man? And he was like, yes. And I was like, why are you not doing it? And then he got very defensive. And after that, I was like, okay, well, what makes you think you need to volunteer your life to Russia? And then, like 30 minutes after that, he's just explaining to me the connection between Russia and Serbia and how it's some great alliance that exists forever. And I don't even care if it does or isn't, but I just listened to him speak forever about this fucking bullshit. Like, I clearly lost every point I had because I'm just listening to this guy ramble. I stupid. See, I by stepping out of my framework, I've lost that
Yeah,
conversation.
you're saying you let him drag you into his frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened to me with Vince James for sure, and it's happened to me a few times where I think it happens with fanatics. It's like why you can't debate religious people because they'll start quoting the Bible, and then
Can
you're
I
like,
intersect for a moment, sir, before you started going off? I do that when I'm speaking to people who I think are stupid, because I imagine their frameworks to be just very contradictory, and I just want to do a gotcha questions on them and like, prove to them how they're wrong, like in any matter. Like I think I could debate them in the depths of their framework, like in the most extreme ideas they hold. I could still debate them in that. But here, this is a great example of how that didn't work out.
I think that people's, even if they're poorly thought out, I think most conspiracy theories or religions or whatever dishonest framework that if you from your point of view, if the person's a fanatic, even if they're wrong, they will have an answer to every question you ask. I think I think once someone is steeped enough in something, you're not going to be able to pull off a gotcha question. I'm also kind of against gotcha questions. I don't like arguing with people about their frameworks in that way. Rhonda wants to know, do you think it's a trust issue? Like you lack trust of the person you're talking to?
Well, I stepped in their framework because I trusted them. I wouldn't step in a framework of a person I don't trust, I think. I think some trust is needed for it. Okay. Is that good enough answer? Are you going to comment on
Um,
it? With a random person who I don't trust or care about, I would just never have this conversation. He would be like, I love people who die for Russia, and I would be great.
I think maybe Rhonda is saying maybe there's different levels of trust because if you step into someone else's framework just to ask gotchas, that's definitely less trusting than being willing to.
You're paraphrasing me. Like, not only to say gotchas, there's just an example, but to prove the contradictory beliefs they hold.
I think to prove the contradictory beliefs they hold is fine to summarize or paraphrase as just to ask gotchas. Like you're stepping into their frame to dismantle it. There is a lack of trust there for sure. Like you're not saying like, oh, let's in good faith let me explain my side, you explain your side, and let's see if we can both tolerate each other's perspectives. Like this is some like when I think about tolerance, I think about the ability, even if I super strongly believe in free speech and it grinds my fucking gears and makes me want to split my teeth into fucking powder, I can semi civilly have a conversation with somebody who thinks that Facebook should control what we say. But it takes a lot of good faith and a lot of energy. It's very hard for me to do that. But that to me, that's like what tolerance is. It doesn't mean like I agree with him. It's just like, can you hold someone else's frame that's truly different and truly contradictory to yours in a very triggering way? Can you hold it and hold your own? And I think if you don't trust them, then you're gonna more end up with one person doing the Trojan horse thing, like you were saying you did, where you're just like, yeah, I'll come, yeah, yeah, let's talk about it. Let me talk and talk and talk until I find like a place to yank on, and I'll try to just tear your frame down.
I think these are two very different ideas because I could understand either opinion that Facebook should or should not control speech. I believe they shouldn't, but like I understand people who say they should. But in the going to war, like volunteering to go to war because you have nothing better to do, I don't understand that opinion. Like I don't understand people who think that's great. It's like antinatalist. They're like, well, I didn't consent to being born. Why am I forced to live? Like, you could just hang yourself right now.
Well, you don't think there's anything worth going to war for?
Not for a random country.
Wait,
Okay,
do you
I
think there's
believe
any?
in
Do you think there's
defensive
anything
wars.
worth going to
Yeah,
war for?
I do. I do. Okay, I do.
Okay, so you do understand that perspective. You're just not willing to like. Again, you're not willing to empathize with his frame enough to understand. He doesn't think this is a random war. He doesn't think it's a random country, and he doesn't think he's joining the army because there's nothing better to do. He explained his frame to you, and you do understand it. You can't imagine thinking something terrible's happening and I have to get involved and I have to fight this war because it's like the right thing to do.
I could understand that. Yes.
Okay, well that's how he feels. I think you don't understand why he feels that way, but that's clearly.
Yeah, but he isn't doing it. He's just cheering. If he really believed it, he would have gone there.
You don't understand cheering.
I, I think I do.
I mean, do you support Ukraine?
Whatever. Okay. Yeah, let's say I do. I just want that the thing to end. I don't care. Just end it today.
Well, who do you want to win?
There is no winners. It's a war.
So you're okay if Russia withdraws or if Russia annexes Ukraine. You're okay either way.
It's just rich people like fighting with each other. Like I want poor people to stop dying.
Are you okay with North Korea annexing all of Eastern Europe?
No.
Okay. So you do have some values about who runs what country, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm saying, there's no gray area between I care
Yeah,
about this,
I can
like,
see, but I can see what you're saying, but that was a very extreme example. I
well,
got
I'm
your
giving an
question.
extreme example because you won't fucking acknowledge that it sounds obviously like
Yeah,
that you.
it would be better if Ukraine got everything back,
Okay, great. So
but it's
you
not
may
the main priority of
you
that
might
war.
if you were drunk and you were in a bar and it was announced on the television that Ukraine won, Russia surrenders, is withdrawing, you might cheer and yet not go pick up a rifle and fucking join the war. Like there's a huge difference between being like, yeah, and then being like, yeah. Like those are not the same thing.
Okay, but I would prefer everybody to concede everything instead of going to war another day where people will die. In this one situation, this is a very specific situation. This is not like a abstraction. Like this Russia Ukraine stuff is really happening.
Yeah, but
You can compare it to North Korea.
your frame of what's happening is different from the frame of somebody who wants to go fight in the war.
Yeah, I understand that he believes Russia is right and the USSR should exist. Okay, that is his frame.
Okay.
He thinks USSR should exist and they're freeing people. They're freeing people from the oppression of the West. Whatever. That's roughly his beliefs, and he's completely not acting on them. He has an inconsistent worldview.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'd like to give the opposite example, the example of Holden and your framework, and still failing. So I
Holden?
was speaking to a different person. What were you gonna say?
Who's Holden?
Me in
Oh,
next situation.
holding the framework.
Yeah,
Okay.
holding framework, yes. So I was holding like a human rights perspective when speaking about gay people in Serbia. And it wasn't even about like what the other person was arguing. He was arguing how it's disgusting to him, whatever. And I was just like, well, you're not giving him human rights. Do you like not agree with human rights? And I was like, does your framework literally not have human rights? And whenever he say something, I would just go back to, but you're denying people human rights. And we just circled around forever, and I was just repeating, but human rights, and he was just repeating his random points about how he doesn't like gay people. And
So did
uh,
you ever talk about whether being gay is a human right or whether sexual rights are human rights?
uh,
Like I feel like that.
the conversation and the political situation in Serbia, let me just fill you in. They are allowed to exist. They are not allowed to like marry each other and visit each other in
Yeah, did you
hospitals
so
or
but
get
I'm
stuff.
saying the difference in your frames is he probably believes in human rights, but you believe that gay people having sex with each other is a human right and he doesn't.
Okay, yeah.
Well, so
And I was
I
like,
think retreating to the refrain of you don't believe in human rights over and over doesn't address that he does believe in human rights. He
it
just doesn't have.
wasn't that stupid. Like I've defended it in a more creative manner than that. I'm trying to paraphrase what happened really shortly because it's like a 30-minute conversation. But yes, I've explored. I've asked them like, do you think it's your human right to cut your wrist? Do you think it's your human right to smoke weed? Do you think it's your human right to do whatever? Do you think you can go home with somebody else and wrestle? Like, and then he would be like, yeah, 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 yeah. But when they fuck, it's disgusting. And it's like, well, it might be a fanatic case, as you said before with the religious guy.
I think that when you're trying to change someone's mind about something, you're sacrificing an ability to understand their frame. I think you have to prioritize one over the other. You can kind of try to do both, but at some point, one suffers from you focusing on the other.
Okay, and you're saying that I'm not trying to understand them.
Yeah, you're trying to persuade more than you're trying to understand.
Yeah, that's my goal. That's my goal from the start.
I don't think Dick Masterson tries to persuade ever.
Yeah, he doesn't step out of his framework a bit. He's just having fun in it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying he does not try to persuade you. So I can go on Dick's show.
Actually,
I can talk about something he completely
I disagree.
disagrees. I can talk about something he completely disagrees with. He'll poke at it. And he'll say, "Are you or are you kidding me?" But he never gets really like incensed by it. He's never like, "I need you to change your mind." There's never like a thing he won't let go. Like he's just like, "Eh,
Well, they had that whole thing with Maddox. That was a pretty
that's
bad thing of not letting go.
that's different." I'm not. I'm talking about.
Even before
I'm
getting
talking about
sued,
ideologically.
it turned to be a horrible show because they weren't moving.
All
Uh,
right, I have to end this. I have to move on to
can
the
you give
next
one
caller.
more thing?
No, you can't.
Veto? Okay.
About veto?
Yeah.
No.
You want the biggest problem? Okay. Whatever.
Thank you for calling.
He gets first. I did a lot. Goodbye.
Bye.